What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an extremely special episode of the Waterboy podcast. Today is episode 149. We have another edition of Tulane Tuesdays with former team captain and star linebacker Nick Anderson coming up for you at the end of the pod. But real quick, for those just checking in, listening to the very first time, this is the Waterboy podcast. Quick little 10, 20-minute preview before, then we'll get into the interview. We know you're all here for that. But yeah, check us out real quick. Feel free to like and subscribe. We will appreciate that.
Other interviews with Tulane players as well.
We got
if you want
to
check them out on the YouTube page, or if you're
we got our
listening, you can find them on Spotify.
It's pinned to our channel. We had Shay on again with Quan Jackson. We also had Sincere Hainsworth on, Captain Center. So had a lot. Oh, how can I forget the number one guest in the Waterboy podcast, Mr. Chadwick Bailey, defensive back. So yeah, we've had a lot of Tulane guys on. We're a Tulane pod. We rep the brand. But yeah, Everett, big weekend of college football. Okay. Week one is wrapped. Coach Prime in Colorado stole the weekend. Maybe Florida State stole it at the end, but I do think overall Coach Prime stole the weekend. What do you think?
I don't think Florida State took the weekend. I wouldn't say that at all.
Big time win though.
It was a big time win. Don't get me wrong. It was a big time win, but I think that the reason why it was considered big time was because LSU was ranked so high. I don't think that they're not a top 10 team in college football at a minimum. So
that win,
they had so many issues. That's
in my opinion the biggest issue were coaching problems. And just
but also Jaden Daniels not making great reads. Malik Neighbors was dropping the ball a lot. There's a lot of problems with a lot of key pieces on that team. I don't think maybe at the end of the season, maybe they could be top 10 right now. No, not top 10 at all.
Okay. I'd say early on, they were getting down to the red zone pretty easily, not converting in the red zone. Brian Kelly brought that up at halftime. Obviously, we're not scoring once we get down there. That was a big problem in the first half where it could have been a much different game. But in my opinion, the biggest problem for LSU was they dropped their star edge rusher. Well, yeah.
That was also a problem.
Harold Perkins, he dropped into coverage 80% of the game.
Yeah, apparently they hired Ed Donatel to be their defensive coordinator is what that sounds like to me.
Very interesting decision to drop one of your best pass rushers into coverage 80% of the game. Yeah, that one was very interesting. The corners weren't looking great as well. Keon Coleman absolutely stole the show. Michigan State guy, who was also almost a Tulane guy. But regardless, what I want to say is, Everett, I thought Big Ten receivers couldn't compete with SEC speed and strength. I thought Big Ten receivers have no shot.
Well, yeah, also
SEC DBs. What happened? What happened at LSU?
Yeah, also though, with that though, some people are going to be saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. is completely overrated because of last week's game, but I also just want to state he was hurt.
He was hurt. Well, he got hurt, but if I'm gonna be honest, we can dive into. Okay, we'll dive into that right now. Okay, Ohio State, the Union boys. Okay, we're back in another Civil War. Hasn't ended. Still going on. Kyle MidCord versus Devin Brown. I'm trying to get away to get mid in Devin. I don't really know. Anyway, everyone's in a war right now. Half of the fan base is calling for Kyle MidCord's head, saying Devin Brown should start. Devin Brown should be in the game. And the other half of the fan base is sitting here being like, I hate any fan who says something negative about this team. You could only say positive stuff. Kyle McCord's the greatest quarterback ever. Both sides wrong. A little bit in between. It can be correct, everyone. Now, Kyle McCord, okay? I'll give you my thoughts on Kyle. That first half, in my opinion, I saw a guy getting thrusted in there as the starting quarterback. Second start ever, but last year, his one start was because CJ was hurt, so it's not like he was starting the rest of the season. So it's a different atmosphere starting this game as the guy. And it's on the road. Indiana's not the toughest team in the Big Ten, arguably like the worst team in the Big Ten, actually. Maybe not with Northwestern. Rutgers destroyed Northwestern over the weekend. So
yeah, maybe it is Northwestern.
like I don't know anymore. But anyway, Kyle McCord, that first half, I saw a guy get thrust in there behind a bad offensive line where he did not have time to make throws, and Ryan Day realized that quickly. And in my opinion, that first half, Kyle did not have much time to throw the ball at all. Josh Simmons, our left tackle transfer from San Diego State, was not holding up. Apparently, Kyle McCord was pressured 6 times over the weekend, according to PFF. 3 of those were attributed to Josh Simmons. So we have a problem at left tackle, which shout out to all the Ohio State fans who said we had a top 10 offensive line going into this season. Clearly not, but not great at tackle. Also, Kyle McCord, though, in that first half, in my opinion, he looked afraid to throw the ball past the sticks. He looked afraid to throw the ball 10 yards or further in the air. Everything was a little check down Charlie. He was taking underneath what was there, just hitting the short throws, not taking any risks, didn't want to lose the game, which, hey, I don't have any problem with.
Don't blame him. Don't blame him for that.
And then we get to a 4th and 2 situation where we run a little play action, little flat route to our, well, he is our running back, Chip Trainum, which half the fan base also is claiming for him to be RB1, but we had him lined up at fullback. It's a little screen route, play action play. It was wide open and he got tripped up and he was now removed from the play. So Kyle McCord, we have this play dialed up to the running back on a 4th and 2. Okay. He is wide open, but now he trips and he's out of the play. So Kyle McCord, he isn't quite fast enough to get the corner. So he throws crossbody back into coverage, gets picked off. After that play, we went full conservative. I swear.
Everybody's also got to keep in mind, by the way, like this is his first time playing at this level.
Pretty much. It's the second start, but essentially, yes.
Don't count
yeah,
that.
Akron last week doesn't really count.
No, so, we're not counting that. Indiana's it's still Indiana, but Indiana's a completely different team. Yeah. And also like you're ironing out some kinks. You lost a consistent amount of players that have made the team great, right?
Lost a lot of linemen.
That's another like pressure causes a lot of problems for quarterbacks, especially ones that are not used. Like, I guarantee you. All right, look, first read. Everybody knows who the first read is. Everybody in the stadium. Everybody, like, we all know. Everybody knows. So if you start locking him out, or he comes out, like, what you just have Emeka Egbuka, and that's
very good.
Very good. Very good. But like when Marv was out,
there's more receivers there.
But when Marv went out, right? They're just going to start double teaming Emeka Egbuka, and to make those other reads to wide receivers who have not had as much prolific time playing.
Well, Marv played this whole game.
I thought he was out for a couple plays.
Nah, I mean,
no. Okay.
No. So I get what you're saying from an angle, like the Georgia game last year. You can go back to it and you see, yeah, Mecca's getting bracketed every single play. But with this team, Kyle McCord, I saw him in that second half gaining a lot of confidence. I saw the protection getting better. I saw the blocking getting better. And, the run game, we didn't quite see the dominance I was hoping for. And I kind of thought early season, well, we saw it. They are trying to rely on this run game early season to help out Kyle. But the O-line's not quite there yet. So we still got adjustments to make there. But overall, give him time. I will say, though, that I'm not overly impressed with Kyle McCord.
No, not at all.
I do think Devin Brown should get a shot. In my opinion, in that last game, I'm pretty sure Ryan Day said, like, Devin Brown will play in this game. Now the game is a little bit closer than expected, so I can understand you don't now just want to toss in a new guy, but the one series we brought in Devin Brown, Everett, we ran the ball twice and then ran quarterback power. He didn't get to throw the ball. So we haven't seen him throw.
What would be nice right about now?
Having
a former 5-star
Justin Fields, CJ Stroud.
Well, that or having a former number 1 rated quarterback in the class.
So this is another thing a lot of Ohio State fans are making, which, I mean, shit, I agree. I mean, he was the number 1 recruit in the country, 1,000 rated recruit. Those don't come around very often. Kyle McCord leaving, or not Kyle McCord, Quinn Ewers leaving was a big time miss. And I know Quinn Ewers hasn't looked phenomenal at Texas. Like, I get that. However, it's just, I don't know. We'll see.
Even if he hasn't looked phenomenal, he's looked better than
Kyle McCord got nothing to go off. But yeah.
So I mean,
Kyle, Give him time. I do think Devin Brown should have a chance. Like, let's see what he could do. In my opinion, Devin Brown's less experienced, more mobile. So maybe it makes more sense this case. But a lot of people are saying Ryan Day does not want to throw Devin Brown in there with that offensive line. It will not go well. People are saying clearly Ryan Day does not trust Devin Brown with his turnovers if he's not getting thrown into this close game. So I don't know. We'll see. Devin Brown seems to me more of like.
So let me ask you this. Let's ask you this, and we can end the Ohio State of the Union with this question. After week 1, how do you feel about Ohio State's chances to not make just the playoffs, but the Natty?
So nothing's really like changed that much. I don't feel significantly worse. We can still do it. However, it's like, hey, Notre Dame week 4 now. Let's see.
Circle it.
Let's see it. We'll make I'll really make.
Is that in South Bend or is that in
South Bend?
South Bend.
So Kyle McCord, strap up, or Devin Brown. We'll see.
How do you feel about the Michigan matchup this year?
So I mean, Michigan, they didn't look overly impressive in my opinion. Everyone's like JJ McCarthy, phenomenal.
I mean, Blake Corum looked pretty nice. I'm not gonna cap.
11 carries, 50 yards. That looks pretty nice to you.
He had one pretty good, like, explosive.
No. Devin Edwards got locked down. So there were people out there, Michigan fans, being like, oh, look at, I believe, Roman Wilson's stats. Look at Marv. Roman Wilson better than Marv. And it's like, if you want to play that game, Ohio State's third string running back had significantly better numbers than Donovan Edwards. And you will never hear me ever saying Chip Trainum's better than Donovan Edwards. You will never hear me say that. But yeah, I mean, you know my thoughts on Blake. Donovan Edwards is the terrifying one to me. He's the guy that can make it go boom, boom. We saw that against Ohio State last year. That game, though, I'm not like, do I expect them to win? I guess no, but like, yes, I'm expecting them to win, if that makes any sense. Like, I will be fucking crushed if I lose 3 straight to Michigan. That's where it's like,
yeah,
I expect to win.
We might not hear from you I might be doing a solo pod that week. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Do we have anything?
Oh yeah, I just want to say that Florida-Utah game. Florida. Oh my God. Okay.
They look good.
Utah. Wow. No Cam Rising, no problem. Okay.
Utah looked good for no Cam Rising. I would say that was pretty good to see. And they
impressive. And that defense too. They were
if Alex Grinch doesn't pull his head out of wherever it's lodged.
At least the game's at USC this year.
Yeah, but I'm a little concerned for the fact that
it's gonna be a bloodbath.
It might be a massacre.
Last thing I just want 2 more quick little things. Your least favorite player, one of your least favorite players in college football, Spencer Rattler in South Carolina, got their asses handed to them by Drake May in North Carolina. So quick little victory lap for you.
Let me just give it a little hand clap.
But in all seriousness, I'm not sure if you saw the post-game interaction with Mike Brown and Shane Beamer, but
I did not. Not good.
Mac Brown grabbed Shane Beamer by the neck as he tried to walk away. He's like, "Come here, son. I still got something to tell you." Obviously, he didn't say "come here, son," but grabbed him by the neck, pulled him back in the conversation. Looked a little hilarious. Last thing though, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Colorado. We kind of brought that up briefly at the beginning, but oh shit, Go Buffs. They got USC week 5 in Colorado.
Do you think Colorado? Well, one, I was saying this earlier to somebody else I was talking to. I do not think that TCU is. I mean, we talked about this. TCU is not going to be a ranked team at the end of the year. They're not good. All right. Will Colorado get ranked this week for the win?
1,000%.
And will TCU get dropped the amount that they should be? What I was being told, what I was talking to some other people, their arguments were to make the Colorado look better. If they think Colorado is that good, they're going to keep TCU in.
Oh, from that angle, yes. I get what you're saying, but I mean, we'll see.
I think personally,
maybe we'll see.
We'll see. I think personally, what it could happen is you have TCU 24, Colorado 25, but there's nobody really lost this week to bounce anybody outside of TCU. TCU would be the only team that really is a big mover.
The other, like LSU is going to drop, but they're going to like at worst LSU probably will drop. I think
worst 12. I think they'll probably be outside the top 10 personally.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
It's not like they're outside the top 15. I don't think so. That's just how.
No shot outside.
They
no shot.
were the number 5 team in the country at one point. Remember that. It was a preseason ranking. That doesn't matter. But remember, the committee will remember that. They'll remember that. Just also, Everett, we don't know how LSU will turn out, but Florida State has a top 5 win on their resume for the rest of the season. Remember that. They'll bring that up. So, hey, if you're right in your prediction that
and they'll also add it was at a neutral site too.
Oh yeah, which if I'm gonna be honest, it was in Orlando.
It was not neutral. It was not neutral, but yes.
Well, but I mean, it's like I kind of thought that was an interesting place to put. Like, I don't necessarily think that gave Florida State the biggest advantage.
They had to do that because last year they played in New Orleans, so that's kind of
the Orlando Stadium to me was an interesting choice. I had no idea that even existed.
They use it for bowl games. Outside of that, I have no idea what. Maybe the Florida high school tournament search championship. I don't know what they use it for. I don't know how that gets paid for, but whatever, concerts maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I expect LSU to drop a little bit. But yeah, Colorado. Wow. Okay, but that was a college football update.
All right, and then we'll just finish up quickly with the NFL. We got some stuff for our new viewers, for our returning viewers, before we get into the interview you guys are all waiting for, unless you've already skipped to that point, which is highly likely. But couple of things real quick. We'll be having our full breakdown episode. Our start of our competitive season between Grant and I is on Thursday, where we track our wins against each other for the title. Grant won last year. I'm coming for some revenge.
Real quick, I might be. We'll see how long this takes me to pull it up, but I think we might have to pull up. We were both
above 65%. I think that was pretty nice in the season.
So correctly.
First thing I want to just mention, Commanders have sold out their first home opener week 1 against the Cardinals. So just want to give a round of applause to the new ownership, to the fans for that. They really were just waiting for Dan Snyder to leave. The Cardinals, also talking about them, Kyler Murray's on the PUP list. If he were not to pass his physical, he would be guaranteed, I believe, $37 million in 2024, $29 million in 2025, and $26 million in 2026. So that is over $25 million over every year for at least 3 years, even if he is not on the roster. That is absolutely brutal. I also don't know if you saw the clip of Jonathan Gannon over the weekend. They have a hype video of him. That might be the worst thing I have seen in my life.
Yeah, no, that wasn't.
Do you have fire? Did you take the bus today? Do you have fire in your gut?
Yeah.
What are you even talking? How does that correlate? If you take the bus, does that mean that you're just a champion?
Yeah. Now I'm not entirely sure, Everett, but I'm not sure how many of those players took the bus to the practice facility.
Do you think a single NFL player takes the bus?
Probably not. I don't know. I don't know, but probably not. I don't know. But I got the results from last year real quick, Everett. I finished in at 157 and 98, 61.6%. You finish in at 148, 107, 58%, which means I had 9 picks better than you. So
close margins, though, for a full year. Pretty close margins over 9 games.
Pretty close. I would also want to say that, I mean, I can also real quickly go look the week 1 numbers. I may have had that 9-game advantage in week 1, and it just stayed there the whole year.
No, it was like week 3. We were like pretty even week 1, I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. I don't know why, but I have a burning memory that first week I just had a relatively large lead, and that really helped out for the rest of the year. Wait, I think I'm about to get it. God, my shit is all over the place.
Grant's also using a toaster from 2014, so that's the other difference. Our named intern really's got to get fixed.
I cannot get these early numbers.
We'll get them for Thursday. We'll do a recap on Thursday. The last thing, and Thursday is going to be our big NFL episode going into Thursday Night Football to open up the season. Last thing I wanted to talk about, I really want to key on, and maybe we'll talk about it more on Thursday, is our NFL offseason wish list. All right. Waterboy analytics have never been higher. All right. The stocks for the Waterboy analytics have never been higher. I think we hit on the biggest things that happened this offseason. I'm pretty sure we hit on every single one of them. DJ Moore trade, Aaron Rodgers trade, most of those things that we thought like could be possible, we got even in backlash. Biggest thing that I want to talk about as a Vikings fan personally, I have the receipts for this. If our editor is great, he'll take a screenshot of this and throw it up on there from my Twitter page. It's not gonna happen, but I tweeted out the Vikings offseason agenda, what I thought should happen. This was in January of this year, January 15th, all right, before the offseason even happened. I had extending Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and Duke Shelley. Duke Shelley didn't happen, but TJ Hawkinson got extended. Justin Jefferson's extension is going to be worked on this week. Fired Ed Donatel, anybody associated with him. Ed Donatel got fired. Cutter trade, Eric Kendricks, Patrick Peterson, Dalvin Cook, and Shannon Sullivan. All that happened. Sign or trade for a big name DB. We got Murphy. So that happened. Sign a veteran linebacker. That happened. We got Nick Vigil back and fired Ed Donatel again, just in case. They did make sure that he got fired when they hired Brian Flores. So just want to say, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but if anybody, any football team, if any team's looking for somebody to help out their GM,
that's tooting your own horn. No, you're literally.
No, yeah, I'm going to toot my own horn. If any team's looking for somebody to help their GM out, I am available. So Waterboy Analytics, all right.
Yeah, contact us at waterboypod@gmail.com.
Yes, sir. Waterboypod@gmail.com. Any NFL team looking for some brainiacs over here, we can be your Jonah Hill to your
No, I like
your
Jonah Hill better. I like Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill to your
be my Brad Pitt. Be my Brad Pitt. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so I did get the records from last year. I went 8-8 week 1, which I'm really, really surprised now what happened there. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And with that, without further ado, wow. Without further ado,
just start the interview right now.
All right, what's going on, everybody? We are super proud, super happy to bring on former captain, legend from Tulane football and current NFL linebacker Nick Anderson to the podcast. It's been a work in progress, but Nick is finally joining us. Super excited. So glad to have you on, man.
Man, most definitely, man. I appreciate you guys for having me. I keep up with you guys on Twitter, always watching you guys' videos on TikTok. So I'm just honored to be on the show, man. I wish I would have known a long time ago that you guys wanted me on here. I would have been on here, but yeah, man, really appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to get on tonight.
Oh, we appreciate that. That's the love and support of the Waterboy faithful right there. But we're gonna get into the most important stuff right away. We're just not even gonna hesitate. What we need to know is which player on the Saints had the hardest time with the crawfish in the spring, and then also who did the most bizarre thing with it? Because I swear I think it was Jamal Williams with barbecue sauce. And that is a absolute sin when it comes to crawfish. So we needed that information first.
I'm definitely gonna say that Jamal definitely had the most different experience I've seen with crawfish. Really just certain Louisiana cuisines in general. I know he wasn't a big fan of beignets as well. And Jamal's just one of those guys, he's always gonna, speak his mind. So, he didn't give great reviews on, crawfish and beignets. But that was probably the only person. Everybody else, I wouldn't say they didn't like crawfish, but some guys just was like, okay, it's just a lot of work for one piece of meat, and some guys liked it. But overall, I definitely say Jamal was the number one candidate for, he had different opinions when it came to certain foods.
You didn't have anybody take like some scissors or like a hammer or something trying to open up the back end of it?
I could see Jameis doing that. I could definitely see Jameis doing
that. Nah. Jamal probably was the only one. It was a couple of other rookies, like Jordan Howden. I had to show him how to peel them open and things like that. But for the most part, when we had the rookie crawfish dinner, everybody, took part to it. And we also had a lot of fans out there helping peel things and things like that.
That's the Louisiana It's the Louisiana love right there. But the other kind of important thing that we wanted to talk about is there's been a lot of changes at Tulane this year. I know that you aren't currently playing for us anymore. You're not on the team anymore. As sad as that is, but the biggest change, I don't know if you've heard this, actually involves me. And it's my switch from sports med equipment. I'm now officially an equipment manager. Hey. And there's been a question Grant's been dying to ask.
Big developments over there from Everett. And I'm not sure if you knew this, but probably the biggest responsibility that Everett will take on this upcoming year, he's on aux for practice. I
huge responsibility.
So yeah. I just like, personally for me, I had the privilege of being the practice aux guy for one practice. I got that privilege removed, but I understand how important that job is. So what suggestions do you have for Everett? It's a big time responsibility there.
Man, now that you say that, honestly, I was at practice, I say Monday, and I was like, okay, music kind of,
Okay, all right, I'll take that. I was on aux that day. I'll take that.
Because I knew that Devin was going, so I was like, okay, I got a little young boy, a little Migos, a little Drake. I said, okay, like, I wonder who was playing the tunes, man. But hey, shout out to you, E, man. You getting it done.
I got absolutely dumped on the first day that I did it. Defense was not happy. DJ Douglas was standing there, was like, hey, it's not it. That's not it. So I had our boy Chad Bailey. I was like, hey, what songs do all the guys like? Like, what was everybody like? I put my phone away for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. I came back, 90 new notifications, 90 text notifications, brand new songs to use for practice. So that was an interesting one.
Yeah, I just real quick, like, does that also apply to like pregame? Like, are you an aux in the locker room too?
Oh, I have no idea, but that is the other question though. And like, obviously I've been around Tulane, like I know how it is for us. But like from your perspective, does like music and the way that people kind of approach things with pregame, does that affect mentality? Does that affect how you're going into the game? Does that have any influence on like the way that you play? Like how important is that your pregame music, pregame ritual, all those kind of things to you for your game and in general, just for you think like for football?
Just in general, I feel like every athlete, football and many other sports have certain pregame rituals, especially at this level that they've been doing probably since they began playing the sport. I know for me, myself, one of my pregame rituals is, putting my eye black on before I take the field, before the game, and, going out there early and warming up and listening to my music. So I know definitely music for me personally, is very big. Going on the way to the morning, well, really when I wake up before the game, I'm always a gospel guy. Got to get that in the day of the game, listen to my gospel music, my church music. And then on the way to the stadium, I'm bumping Young Boy on the way to the stadium, not gonna lie, little Young Boy, little Drake. Something just get me going, get me excited, get me amped for the game. But I definitely feel like music, a lot of people do listen to different things, but I definitely feel like it plays a part in really getting you into whatever zone you get into to go play. So just pregame rituals. I know Taji and Sincere was real big on walking barefoot on the field prior to games. So everybody has their certain pregame rituals. I know mine a little bit more spiritual because I'm more of a spiritual guy, just as like, before we take it into the locker room, making sure that I, start, get a little quick prayer on the goalpost or whatever way we're going into the locker room, just things like that I've been doing since high school, my little rituals. But I definitely, to answer your question, feel that pregame rituals are very important to a person's intensity before they play a game.
Yeah, no, a little bit more about like the mental aspect. Reading up a bunch of articles, bunch of interviews you've had, you talk a lot about the mental aspect of football. One of your quotes, you kind of look at football as an 80% mental, 20% physical type of game. So kind of going off a little bit there, what you were saying with your pregame mentality, kind of like what's one way you approach the game in terms of your preparation, whether, I don't know, it could be extra film study, maybe you're looking at your own tapes, things that you can improve on.
Most definitely. I feel like the biggest thing is just making sure you're mentally prepared. Whether that's one thing that I really started getting into last year was getting the play calls, whatever calls that we're going to call in the game, and going and watching the game by myself. And calling calls in my head to make sure, okay, what assignment do I have on this play? What assignment do I have on this play? What would we call in this certain situation? And that helped me transfer over to the NFL preseason. Our coaches did a great job at the Saints of giving me certain our play call sheet and allowing me to be able to go before the games and know, okay, in this situation, this is what the coach may call. Let me, make myself familiar with, okay, what do I have on this assignment? What do I have on that assignment? And also just watching film, not only to see the players, but just to see the scheme of other coaches. I feel like, players change each and every week. Somebody could be playing this week. Somebody may not be playing the next week due to injury, but just understanding the way a team runs their scheme and having that extra approach mentally really excels you. And that's something that, I've always been big on, is just film study and picking up on tendencies and really getting that mental approach. And not only as far as the preparation for the game, but preparing my mind. I'm really big on breathing. That's something that Coach Moose really introduced to us, is just being very conscious of your breaths before you take the field, or, just in general during the game when bad things are happening or things are happening that, are difficult situations where guys tend to, overreact emotionally. Just taking the time to sit there and just count your breaths, take a quick inhale, exhale, maybe 3 times to just gather yourself and get back to it. So that's something that I've always, added to my game since he's brought it to us. But overall, just really just having that mental toughness, man. Regardless, when the game is football, you got to have it, and it's something that really gets you through life. Just having that mental edge to know that as long as you keep a positive outlook, as long as you stay in the moment and believe that everything's gonna work out, it always does.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit more on film room preparation. This is going to be hard to believe, but I used to play offensive line. I used to be a bit of a bigger guy. And as a former lineman, one thing that always concerned me pre-snap was if I was pulling, shorten down the splits a little bit, lean a little bit back on the hand, not as much weight forward. I always thought to myself that the linebackers line up to me are seeing these splits getting shortened down and they know that the pull is coming. So one question I had is, are you paying close attention to little things like splits? Like, another thing I've started to notice, sometimes they will pull guards on play action to really get those linebackers biting. What goes in your mind seeing little like split changes, pulling guards? Like, it seems to me that playing linebacker is such a reactionary position.
Most definitely. And like you said, different things as far as like the way a guard may pull, and also being able to expand your vision and see the transition of the other offensive lineman on play action pass. Because obviously, if a lineman pulls, then you're automatically going to look in that direction. And if you see guys not really gaining any yards from the line of scrimmage, then you automatically know it's pass. And just different tendencies of knowing that offenses like to do those type of things. And knowing that, okay, this left tackle may, cheat his stance on, cut blocks, or may cheat his stance on perimeter runs, or may, get in a 3-point stance, whenever they're about to do a big play action pass. I feel like everybody, has certain things that they do in their game to make it more comfortable that, if you take the time to really study your opponent, it can be found out. So I definitely agree with you that, that is important at the linebacker position to be able to be in the trenches and see different things that can alert run or pass and just help you play faster.
Yeah, no, like I've heard countless stories, quarterbacks bringing up their linebackers are calling out the plays pre-snap. They know our whole offense. And so, yeah, I could definitely, thankfully I didn't come up with quite as much intelligent linebackers calling out when I'm pulling, but yeah, some to note.
Yeah, you never had to go against Nick. That's why. I mean, Nick's got it covered. But like talking about all of, the cerebral, the way that you are breaking down the play and all that stuff, the reactionary defense, we sent you 2 sets of, I guess you can call it film, 2 plays that we wanted to talk about in specifics.
The Waterboy film breakdown.
Right. I mean, our unnamed intern is really going through the film today. Oh, yeah. But in the Cotton Bowl against USC, the first play that we want to talk about was the flea flicker play that they ran, that you basically force as an incompletion. Obviously in that situation, you're sitting there, you're going to react to the running back having the ball, you're tossing it back. So it's either a run, a pass, right? And then you immediately, once you see it going back, you immediately just beeline straight for Caleb Williams and force the incompletion with pressure. So we're just curious about like the instincts with that. Were you in a QB spy? Were you playing zone? So how did you decide to go in and just, instead of trying to play coverage there, go in and straight try and go and tackle him and get that pressure that caused the play to be incomplete?
Most definitely. I actually remember that play. We were in a man coverage play, and I was man to man on the running back. And once I saw the running back, I was playing my gap, and once I saw the running back flick it backwards, our coaches used to always tell us to add in. If you're covering a guy that's blocking, then go add to the pressure and get to the quarterback. And so as soon as the running back pitched the ball back, I triggered and got through the line of scrimmage and got a hit on the quarterback. And the goal was to just get a hit. If I got a sack, then I got a sack, but just get a hit on the quarterback, because those are one of the things that can affect the quarterback the rest of the game. And I feel like I got a good lick on him. He didn't slow down though. He didn't slow down the rest of the game, but to get a big hit on a very talented quarterback, a Heisman Trophy winner, that was something big for me personally in that game.
Yeah, there was another moment in that game. End of the third quarter, last play, they just had I think like a defensive holding or something moving forward. It was 1st and 5. Quick little out route to the flats. Immediately you light Austin Jones up. So that's another play where it's very instinctual. The second Caleb turned left, you immediately go. And so, yeah, one thing that's really impressed me watching your highlights and your tape is your pursuit angles, your instincts, reactions. You're immediately reacting to the ball, something that my dad, when he and I are watching Ohio State games, he is screaming his head off that the linebackers aren't reacting to the ball. So yeah, like specifically instincts first, seeing the vision, like immediately going the second that ball's out, kind of what's going through your head.
We were in quarters coverage on that play. And in quarters coverage, I had the first guy out to my side from the backfield. And when the running back went out, I peeked to Caleb Williams to see. And as soon as his mannerisms went to the flats, I took a beeline to the runner and was able to hit him for a tackle for loss. And that was a great play to really set the tone going into the fourth quarter. But like you said, it's just, based off and just knowing the defense, knowing first your assignment, and then just having the instincts to trigger and not second guess yourself.
With that though, and the whole like instinctual thing, when you're just sitting there, obviously you've watched the film, you're going to be making the reactions, right, to how there's the play comes out. So you might have an idea like, hey, they're lining up in this formation. We saw this on film, but it can still be one of 3, 4 plays, 5 plays, just depends on the offense, right? So when you're sitting there pre-snap, even post-snap, how are you reading the field? Like, what goes into you breaking down? When do you decide during the play, if you're in zone, when you decide to break your zone to go pursuit or to try and go into a different area that might not have been covered on the play where it was supposed to be? So just how do those things go into not only just the collegiate level, but also the NFL level? And has it changed at all or anything like that? How is your approach just in general?
Most definitely. I feel like in college we didn't have as many adjustments that we did in the NFL when it comes to formations and different splits by the offensive lineman, to where we may change the coverage and things like that. But basically the pre-snap fundamentals that you have to have is first knowing the play call. You have to understand the play call. And then after you get the play call and communicate the play call, especially at the Mike linebacker position, you got to quickly go through your head, okay, what is my assignment? And a lot of times your assignment is going to be based on the formation, based on, the personnel that's in the game. So in that 3-second window, you got to say, okay, this is the play call. Let me look at the personnel. Okay, you got the personnel. Let me look at the formation. Is it 2x2? Is it 3x1? Is the back in the pistol? Is he in the dot? Is the back in the gun? How far is the back from the quarterback? Because if he's far away from the quarterback, then okay, it's a pass. If he's level 2, close to the quarterback, okay, it might be a run. Look at the stances of the offensive linemen. Are they heavy stances? Things like that. And then you also got to look at the down and distance to say, okay, it's 1st and 10. What do they like to do at 1st and 10? Okay, it's 3rd and 1. What do they like to do in 3rd and 1? And then also, if it's 3rd down, you got to know the down and distance, because if I have a middle run through drop and it's 3rd and 4 and they lined up empty, then I'm automatically knowing this quick pass. Otherwise, it may be 3rd and 12 and they line up and empty. And then I know, a guy may motion back for protection so they can go a little bit deeper. So it's a lot of things that has to go in your head in such a quick thing. But like I said, just being on top of that film study and really being an instinctual player, you make it work. Because as soon as the ball snaps, it really goes to, okay, let's do my assignment, but instincts have to somewhat take over. You don't want to be a robot out there like, oh, my assignment was to cover this guy, but the quarterback threw in the opposite direction and, not having that type of vision or instincts to go break on the ball. Because at the end of the day, especially on NFL level, you get paid by production, not just doing your job, but how much you're, producing on the field. And so I feel like instincts take over once the ball is snapped. But, just having that mental preparation and knowing what's going on and all your, preparation with film study and things like that really put you in a more comfortable situation to where your instincts can take over once the ball is snapped.
Oh, you all never. Well,
yeah, you got it. You were gonna say something.
One thing that really kind of like I've noticed changed college football. I'm way more of a college football fan than NFL, and we've just been hearing about the evolution of RPOs that getting introduced to college football. That's now being used a lot in the NFL as well. But RPO, the quarterback is essentially reading you. Whatever you do, he will make his decision off of you. Is there any times that if it's an RPO, are you going to mess with him a little bit?
There's some mind games going on.
Like, I don't know. I feel like football is just the ultimate chess match. Yeah. And if their play and you can get them to do something that they shouldn't, maybe you could take advantage there. But yeah, like RPO defense in general, how do you like to defend RPO if it's coming?
Just overall trying to hold your disguise, because just like, they're trying to hold disguise to, see whether they're going to run or pass the ball. Defensively, you just may want to hold your disguise. You may want to show a 2D coverage to make it seem like you're playing temper 2 when you're really playing cover 2 man. Or you may want to, align in the blitz formation like you're going to blitz and you're really dropping cover 3. So just being on top of your disguises as well. And like you said, man, the biggest thing you just said is it's a chess match. Sometimes you may make a wrong move, but you just got to react and go with it. And sometimes you may make a right move and it wins the game. So, just like I said, just overall, just having that ideology of when the ball snaps, everything goes to like, okay, let's make a play.
Yeah, I was saying little off the topic now of the mental preparation, but we were asking this to Shay too. But coming off the 2021 season, things didn't go to plan. And then coming into your last year at Tulane, becoming a team captain, winning the AAC, winning the Cotton Bowl. You also helped make that safety tackle, kind of spearheading the rally to make that comeback. Kind of take me through that last year at Tulane, kind of the different approach into that season.
Just like also your role, like obviously I got to see you the whole season. I got to see the way that the season changed after we had our first loss for Southern Miss and everything. So like what Grant was saying, your role in the team season, the change, because I know it was pretty important. And then also, the implementation of the 1-0 and the mantras and the way that you kind of got the team to come together and be really like on top of it, and you were always working for like what you wanted out of last season. You were always tweeting about like, hey, let's, we're going to get to the championship. We got to the championship. And hey, we're going to get to the Cotton Bowl. We're going to win the Cotton Bowl, which I thought was really cool because you like prophesized all of that. But like Grant was saying, the role in and all of that, how was the difference? What was the difference? And how did you play like a part in all of that?
Just overall, I just feel like, my part was just being the vocal leader on the team, but I feel like everybody played a significant role, even, you guys, like just the support staff, the things that you guys were able to do last year, just helped us in tremendous ways. It goes a lot into, being a college football player, but, not having to worry about, okay, are my cleats going to be in my locker? Is everything going to be there? Like, those are things that you guys did a great job of, already having that done for us, and things that I feel like goes unnoticed as far as the program, because it's not just the football team that, makes things go. It's everybody plays all different roles in it. So, definitely want to give a shout out to you guys and the support staff of making our jobs a little bit easier and more manageable when it comes to handling our business on the field. But overall, I feel like that ideology that I just said was the biggest thing that carried us through that season. knowing that it's bigger than us and more people throughout the program are depending on us to go out there and do our jobs, and that, it's bigger than just self-achievements and, getting something for ourselves and things like that. And that overall, if we get together and accomplish a common goal, then everybody will succeed and everybody will, take advantage of us achieving that goal. And that was one of the things that really just God just put on my heart going into that season, is just, this is your season to really be a leader. Don't worry about the NFL. Don't worry about what you're going to do, as far as statistics and things like that. Just go out there and really use your word, use your voice, use your leadership to bring everybody together and watch what it does. And so that was my biggest thing going into my senior year, just making sure that I was the glue that kept everybody united, the glue that kept everybody pushing. Because, we had dynamic players from Larry Brooks to Macon to Dorian to Michael Pratt to Deuce, to Tajay. Like, we had the players. It's just you needed somebody to really keep everybody together and glue everybody together. And that was the role that I, stepped up in and saying, you know what, I'm going to take that responsibility of making sure that, we keep our mind going, we keep our mind on, especially after the loss against Southern Miss, is just saying like, okay, I don't want to ever have this feeling again. I don't want this team to resort back to, how we handled losses the year before. And the only thing that we can do there is continue to preach brotherhood, continue to preach teamwork. And that was something that Coach Hester came in and really just took over as far as the strength and conditioning side of things. And we spent a lot of time with Coach Hester. You got to realize in the spring, all the coaches are going with recruiting. And so to have somebody of his caliber come in and preach the same thing that we were trying to preach as captains, which is brotherhood, leadership, and playing for the man beside you, it really just cemented our mindsets to go out there every Saturday and put it on the line for everybody in that stadium, fans included. And that really was a special season, man, to just see everything that we manifested, everything that, we were able to, dream about, work hard, and push each other forward really came to pass. And it was a blessing. And I'm just blessed to have played my role in it all, man.
I appreciate the love too for the support staff. Makes me feel good about myself. We're gonna take it back. Actually, we're gonna take it back to 2 years ago. The detrimental season. I'm not gonna get into the whole bit of it because it sucks for everybody. 2 years ago, Ole Miss game didn't go the way anybody wanted it to. Didn't end up well. This year, Tulane again is playing Ole Miss, and I don't know if you heard this, and this is what we wanted your opinion on, but Ole Miss's AD came out and said that they have to reevaluate their stance with Tulane going forward because their ticket allotment they got this year was not large enough, and that whenever they have played Tulane, they have basically had a home game away. Like they've had all their fans travel. So I'm just curious what your thought process is on that, because I know everybody wants revenge against Ole Miss this year, but your thought process on what the AD's saying, just that in general. Just like for us, we thought that was soft. Like that was Charmin ultra soft from their AD. So we were just curious. We wanted to pick your brain a little bit on that one.
Overall, I would say that that's a little unprofessional, especially with knowing that you're going to a G5, group of 5 school, to say that you deserve enough tickets for it to be a home game when you're already a big Power 5 institution in the SEC, is kind of rude to say about another institution. And it really just shows that, the superiority that they may feel against Tulane. And I'm not really big on going back and forth in the media, but what I would say to the players is just take that with a chip on your shoulder. That this team really looks at what happened 2 years ago as something that was supposed to happen. And they're, coming down here with the ideology that this is a home game for them and this will be an easy win for them based off, who they are and based off of what they did 2 years ago, and just go out there with that chip on your shoulder. But then again, I would also follow that by saying it all starts with South Alabama. Don't think
100%.
Don't think about that until it comes to week 2. But, definitely go out there and handle business week 1. And then when it's time to roll in week 2, just, have that chip on your shoulder.
Or you can go. Or
the one thing
I
just want
real quick, the 1-0 mentality. Right. Like we kind of like brought it up a little bit. That's something that Everett really liked to talk about a lot last year whenever we're bringing up Tulane. And so I feel like you got to take it week by week in college football.
Yeah.
College football is a weird sport where your season can derail so fast, and you need to stay level-headed, take it week by week.
Yeah, that was about what I was going to say, and I was just curious because it's also a huge thing in the NFL. I'm a Vikings fan, so I have severe experience with coming off of very high highs and falling apart the next week.
Fan, so it's just trauma for me. No highs.
Do you think that coming off of a really high mental, like a walk-off win, something that, you know, is like the highest of highs coming from a game like that? So for last year, we'll say K-State or something like that, right? Do you think that coming off of those kind of wins really affects the way you go into the next week and like the way that you play the next game at both collegiate NFL level? I think football and any level is kind of that way. Do you think that that's a big thing? Do you think it's not really that big of a deal? Because for me, I personally think that, you know, my mentality is, you know, high wins can lead to losses the next week against anybody.
Right. And I feel like it's a big deal if you allow it to be a big deal. Simply how, you know, we were able to go out and play magnificent against Kansas State, and then come and lose to Southern Miss. I don't discredit Southern Miss because they came ready to play that game, but I do discredit ourselves because we didn't match their intensity when we played them. And that is the reality of football, of, you know, getting too ahead of yourself and really allowing a win or allowing a loss to beat you twice. You know, the year before we allowed multiple losses to continue to beat us and beat us and beat us. And then last year we allowed that win to, you know, allow us to not really bring that same intensity to Southern Miss and ended up losing. But I feel like when you control it and you really keep that level mindset of saying each week we're going to put the same intensity into each opponent, then you can have a successful season, which is why you saw us to go out there on homecoming and, you know, beat Memphis and then come back, you know, after the bye week and beat a team like Tulsa. And then you saw us, you know, go and beat ECU and then go and be bowl eligible and beat South Florida. And then after we were bowl eligible, we didn't get on a high horse and say, oh my God, we're going to make a bowl game. We didn't make it last year. We said, okay, next week, let's go out and let's beat Memphis. And even when we had the loss to Central Florida, I would say that loss was more based on us just not executing as well. But I don't really feel like that loss was just based on us thinking about the hype of, oh, we're ranked and things like that. I just feel like that was just a poor execution as far as us going out there and playing the game. But even after that, we said, okay, forget it. We lost, went on, beat SMU. After we beat SMU, it was like, okay, let's go beat Cincinnati. After we beat Cincinnati, it wasn't like, oh, we just broke their streak. It's like, okay, it's time to play the championship game. Let's go win the championship game. And after we won the championship game, it's like, okay, we won. Okay, let's go get another ring. And so, like I said in the beginning, you know, it can be a distraction if you let it, but as long as you got, you know, guys in the locker room that's preaching to stay level-headed and, you know, treat each week the same, then you can be successful.
Yeah, as a college football fan, I could definitely see this year being a lot of bad blood with conference realignment, but I could definitely see Cincinnati and Houston wins feeling a little extra special knowing that they're out of the AAC now. So yeah, one thing that stuck out to me, you've spoken a lot about it as well, but special teams. So one thing I saw really stuck out to me, 776 snaps last year for you. Kind of take us through your mindset on special teams, how you approach that. I feel like it's a very overlooked part of the game, like especially from fans or viewers. And even with like some new like rules going on, seems like kickoff, they might be trying to phase it out a little bit, but tell us a little bit about special teams, how you approach that.
It's also definitely a critical role for NFL 100%. Teams and college football. So
most definitely. And I feel like, you know, special teams is something that at every level of football is something that I've had to begin with. It's always been my starting phase when it comes to, you know, my development on the team. Even, you know, with my time with the Saints, I had to, you know, play special teams. That was something that was, I went in knowing that it would be something that would be mandatory. And it's something that you got to embrace, especially being a young player, trying to understand the scheme. One thing about special teams, there's going to be different schemes, but overall, kickoff return, punt block, and punt, it really is all the same as it is at each level. You're kicking the ball off, the field position is changing, and you got to be able to make quick and fast decisions. And that's just one of the things that, I really feel like is important. Special teams can play a huge impact when it comes to the overall winning and losing of a football game. And a lot of people don't realize the field position battle is so important of where a team starts downs and starts conversions versus where they may or may not get the ball. And so I feel like special teams is the quickest way to change momentum in the game, and it's something that should be taken more seriously because it's very important. A lot of people can get so tied into the X's and O's of offense and defense, and then punt that was down inside the 5-yard line that led to no points, was another reason that a team may have won or lost the game. So I definitely feel like special teams is something that is very overlooked, but very important to me personally, because I know that, that's always something that I've tried to execute to my best capabilities on at each level, because I know that's something that, I want to be able to add to the team. Whether, I know I'm a linebacker, but I'm also a linebacker that can execute and play special teams.
Yeah, I would say another thing as an Ohio State fan, lot of Ohio State guys on the Saints, and one thing that really stuck out to me was Pete Werner. He spoke very highly of you, talking about how you pick up on a lot of things very fast. He said, quote, always asking him questions, trying to learn as much as you can. Kind of what was it like kind of being in a room with him, like Demario Davis, getting to learn under these guys coming up in the NFL, being able to pick their brain, learn a little bit?
It definitely has made me a better player. And despite everything that may have been going on now, I'm very appreciative of my time with the Saints, and just having that opportunity to be in a room with guys that have played the game the right way, and guys that are very highly intelligent and highly experienced. Just being able to play beside DeMario, and even on Sunday have him give me little whatnots when I was coming off the field on defense in the fourth quarter, and just telling me, good job, and just telling me, okay, when you go back out there, make sure you're reading this key. And even having somebody like Jalen Smith, who's the 8-year vet, I feel like I was in a blessed position to have guys that played the game the right way and are playing the game at such a successful rate, be able to give me different tips and different things to add to my game to take forward. So I definitely, just appreciative of, God putting me in a position to have those type of guys around me, and be able to really learn from those guys on a day in, day out basis.
Yeah, I'd say a bit of a change of pace here. This is something that I kind of blame myself. I definitely should have asked this to Shay, but what is the best Tulane jersey combo, and why are the light blue jerseys involved? Just asking.
I would say the best jersey combo that we had from last year. I like the baby blue helmets with the green jerseys and the blue pants. That was my favorite combination. We wore that when we played UCF the first time. And I just feel like that was a great combination, because it took all of our colors and just combined them together, and it was beautiful. And so that was my favorite combination. But also when we go all black with the white helmets, that's a nice little combination that we wear once a year. And so we got a lot of different color combinations that can do a lot of different things. I'm glad that last year we stepped out of just being traditional every week and really, using our different color schemes. But yeah, man. And I say the reason that we have blue is because, Tulane colors are green and olive blue. Is actually in the school spirit song, and so that's why we have blue. But just feel like, no matter the uniform, Tulane uniforms are definitely reign superior over college football.
Yeah, real quick, while we're like, do you guys get any input in that? Like, is there any team vote on the uniform combos? Like, who picks that?
We did get a lot of input last year. Devin did a great job of asking the captains each week and asking the seniors what we wanted to wear. And so I was blessed with the opportunity to pick the uniforms that week versus UCF, ECU, that combination, and then the championship game, the blue on blue with the white helmets. So it was pretty cool to, be able to pick what we wanted to wear.
Yeah,
and that's why I was gassed. That must be why I was so good.
Yeah, so I don't know what's a bigger role, being the guy picking the jerseys or the guy on Ox. I don't know. We'll have to dive into that one a little more. But
we'll find out this year. If something happens, it's the Ox guy. All right, that's all I'm saying. But with that, we're probably going to wrap up here. So is there anything you want to shout out? Any handles or things that you're doing, anything like that you just want to, shout out, let everybody else know, check you out, you're doing this, etc.
Just overall, just want to shout out to the city of New Orleans. Really appreciative of the city. Just their support from me with Tulane and my years there to me with my time with the Saints. Just the love and support that this city has given me is unmatched. And if things come around and my time is done in this city and I'm off to another city to play ball, I'm always going to be appreciative of everybody that I've come in contact with and everybody that has shown me love, because it's truly, like I said, unmatched. The love here and the support from the city of New Orleans. This will always be a second home to me. And just always keep the faith. Always keep the faith.
Well, I mean, hey, there's going to be a team in the NFL that's going to be very, very lucky when they realize that you are going to be their future starting linebacker. So can't wait to see that. Have high hopes, all the love for you. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. You can rate us 5 stars. Find us on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Waterboy Pod. Make sure to subscribe. You can find Nick. Nick, what's your handle on anything?
You can find me on Twitter at Nick Anderson 14 _ and you can find me same handle on TikTok and neezy.a, neezy.a on Instagram.
You can find Grant and I on Twitter at Everett Stakes and Waterboy Grant. And with that, we'll see y'all in the next episode. Waterboys out.